We're back. First episode, Book of Boba Fett, Stranger in a Strange Land. And to start this off, you guys, I guess the best way to put it is, well, that was one way to start it. But with that, Josh, Bailey, let's get into this. All right. Everybody's got some new headphones, looking good, stylish. Got some cool stuff in the background. It's good to see you both. But before we get started, you guys know how I like to do. Josh, you're the guest. How are you doing, sir? What's going on?
I am excellent. How are you today? Complicated question.
Yeah, let's just say that I'm not going to miss 2021 any more than I miss 2020. We'll just move on from there. How about that? Spoiler alert, these two have instructions if I suddenly disappear for the stream for a couple of minutes. So, but we'll move on. Bailey, you are looking fashionable and fresh, as they used to say back in the 80s. How are you doing, ma'am?
A lot better than you are, Paul. I'm so sorry, but yes, I have blended in with the rest of the community with the headphones.
Yes, and if I may, ma'am, I would describe them as sassy.
Yeah, that's perfect for me, you know?
Right. Yeah, it's good. So I'm glad that you're able to get that. Josh, you got your headset on, so we are fitting to get deep into this quick today, I imagine, right, guys? Yeah. Before we get started, holy crap, it is good to see everybody. We are back in business. I'm going to go through this pretty quick, so we're not here all night. But we got John from Super Awesome Geek Show.
Hey, John.
John, you know I love you, but are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? Bailey, check it out. My man,
Brandon.
Oh my gosh, hi.
I saw a hint of him earlier. I think it was on Papa Gord's stream, but it is good to see you, my brother. Yeah,
good to see you, Brandon.
Definitely.
We love us some Josh, and Josh knows how much I love him, but it is never the same. Yeah,
I'm no Ewok though. No,
yeah, you're definitely no Brandon. All right, there's Gilster.
Gilly.
Yeah, David Corpse.
Hey, David.
Hi.
David, good for you to check it out. Papa G.
Hey, Papa.
Yeah, and there's Crazy 8. I always love Crazy. So Crazy, point of fact, notice that I have a Bassman 120 amp in the background. He's also a bass player, so you know I love him. Yeah. There's G-Force.
G-Unit.
Oh, let's see if Linda did this. Oh, wow. Okay, Linda. You know what? Apparently I got to up my stock. She just, hey, everyone. Good to see you. G-Force. Hey, everybody. Oh, thanks, Brandon. Yeah, check it out. Shabby.
Hi.
Hey, Shabby. Long time no see, buddy.
Oh, that's right. You guys had like a trivia thing or something this morning, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was probably dead asleep. Sorry about that. And then there's Jason.
Hey, Jason.
Let's get on down. Oh, there we go. I just want to make sure she wasn't mad at me. Hey, Paul. Okay. And then, as usual, Bailey and Josh. Okay. See, I'm warm again. I was getting a little cold and shaky that, maybe Linda was mad at me, but apparently
you got to keep Linda happy. It's okay.
Yeah. Right. Because Linda, she'll come correct if you're not careful. There's Mr. B.
Hey, Mr. B.
Oh my God. The chat jumps if you're not careful. It is going to, Christian, 2 weeks in a row.
Christian.
I might fall asleep though. Yeah. Not if that baby has anything to say about it. That's for sure. Let's get on down here. Get on down. Oh, there's my brother. Hey there. I really thought Mortal Kombat.
Hey, Alan.
Yeah. Oh, we fitting to get there, Alan. Absolutely. Goro much, for God's sakes. Yeah. So there's Rick.
Hey, Rick.
Oh, Cork it, Brandon. You know we love you. Yeah. Oh, hey, check it out. Nathan Bowden show. It's good to see you, Nathan.
Hey, Nathan.
God, we got everybody tonight, baby.
I know. This is great.
JT.
Hi, JT.
Yeah. Hey, JT.
Yeah. There you go. Luke through
Luke.
Yeah. Just want to say hi. Great to see you guys. I appreciate it. Someone said, so David said, hey, yo, Tez. Did I miss Tez in here somewhere? Because if he's here, that's going to be awesome too. But I might not have caught it. All right. Regardless. Okay. Well, I want to take a moment to thank everybody who's jumped in here to join us. Holy crap, this is so cool. We're pretty excited about the show as a whole, and we'll be up and down about the different episodes as we go. But we're here, Book of Boba Fett, Chapter 1, Stranger in a Strange Land. And I don't think that we should prognosticate, or procrastinate. There's the pro word I was looking for, any further. Josh, so how we do these regular ones normally is I want to get some quick overall impressions, that, I hated this, I loved it, this reminded me of this, and I'll go back to Bailey, and then we'll go back to you and we'll kind of go through the plot elements with the pictures that we talked about. And then I'll get into the good that you thought from this episode, the bad, if we have time, theories and predictions. So that's kind of how we do things around here. Is that cool with you?
Yeah.
Okay. And then once again, if you need to follow Josh or Bailey on Twitter, that'll be down below. I'm going to leave it spin in for now. If you're not already following them, I would be surprised. You guys are both pretty popular in the community. So with that, let's start with exactly what I said I was going to. Josh, let's get into this, man. Overall impressions. Was this how you thought they were going to start it? What did you think? Where are you kind of at in the headspace? And we'll do numbers on the 1 to 10 later.
I would say my overall description was predictable, and my overall feeling is disappointed.
That is, I think that's, yeah, those are two good words that I think we can build on. Bailey, let's shunt it over to you. See if just as quick as Josh or longer if you need. Overall impressions of this episode. How did it hit you in your headspace?
I'm very underwhelmed, unfortunately. Yeah, the last week I was saying I'm going in middle of the road, and now I'm like we're going backwards already. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
You know what? That's exactly the same word that I would use too, Bailey. This is simple. Since you already chose it, this was kind of like watching a documentary. I kind of get why they did it, but it's, for us old guys, it's a lot of fan service. Tell us how this happened and how we got to where we are. But man, it didn't really advance anything, and it was a little plodding. So I feel you guys on that. So let's get over here to banners. Josh, you saw the pictures I have for you earlier. We can kind of go in chronological order. If you want, I'll pull this one up and we can start you off, kind of go through kind of the beginning, get us started on the plot and what's going on and what you thought of that, if you don't mind.
Well, it opened with these kind of awesome flashback sequences, and I really actually loved that. And the very beginning of the episode had me really invested in kind of what was going on. And I mean the very first few moments of it. I loved seeing Camino, and I loved the callback to Attack of the Clones, but at the same time, and I understand the desire to have some different angles and to maybe elongate the scene a little bit more and to use a new actor and to add some extra stuff. But why not use at least some of the footage from the film? Why do you need to reshoot all of it? To me, that was disappointing. I know that seems kind of petty and nitpicky, but at the same time, if you're going to call back to it, then genuinely call back to it. I mean, what is the point otherwise? Why are they so scared to use anything from the prequels, especially if you're going to directly reference it?
Mm-hmm. Fair enough, because I'm sure everybody knows at this point, but this top shot is from Book of Boba Fett and the bottom shot is from Attack of the Clones. This top shot is an entire reshoot. That's not even the same actor. It's a lookalike. For those of you who may not know that, I'm sure you do. Bailey, when I saw this, I started to get a little cringy because prequels, that's your jam, girl. That's your era. What did you think of what you saw with those dream sequences when we first saw him in the Bacta tank?
I was confused as to why that, specific scene was used, because it didn't, my thing with flashbacks is, if you're going to show us something, it should, I don't know, there should be a reason why we're seeing that. And, I don't know. I didn't really understand why they went through all this trouble to reshoot the scene, and I couldn't tell you why. Because we didn't even go into his childhood or anything. So I'm thinking we're gonna see, we're gonna build on this more. But when that really wasn't the case, so yeah, I don't know why that was added. I think it was more for fan service than anything else.
Yeah, from a storytelling standpoint, I truly hope that they go back to that, because like I said in the first episode that we did, I want them to talk about that connection and to give us a little bit more of his relationship with Django and how that affected him, and particularly that moment. I can understand that being a very quintessential moment in his life. But to touch on what Mr. B was saying in the comments there, yeah, it saved them money. I get that, but at the same time, it's Disney Plus. Like they have the money. That's one of my biggest beefs with the entire show, is that I've seen fan films that look better. When he escaped from the Sarlacc, like that should have been a much more elaborate scene. There should have been much more of a struggle, frankly, for him to get out of it. And we should have seen, a lot of tentacles and explosions, or, I mean, just him busting up out of the sand. I mean, I understand they want to maybe save money for later down the road for the bigger moments, and they want to build up and yada yada. But at the same time, it's the first episode. Grab us from the first moment. I mean, they spent all the money on those cool CG shots, and they spent the money to completely reshoot that. Then just, how much less would you have had to have reshot if you just with the other stuff? I mean, there's a balance there to find, and I don't feel like they were trying to find it. I feel like they're just, we won't want to use anything from before. We just want to do what we want to do going forward. And I just, that's the total impression I got from it. And I hate that, because I wanted to enjoy it, and I felt like it was detracted from for that reason.
Fair enough.
Because I could tell instantly that it wasn't the footage. I was like, okay, yep, this is a reshoot. Why did they feel the need to do that? And immediately I thought, okay, they just wanted to save money. But then I thought, why are they trying to save money on this? It's Star Wars. They put the money into Marvel, put the money into Star Wars.
Yeah, fair enough. Bailey, did you have really quick though, point of order? Bailey, is he choppy a little bit for you as well, or is it just me?
No, it went out for a moment, but
okay,
yeah.
Okay, Josh, you're every now and then you're just a little choppy. So for what it's worth, you're fine. It's nothing to worry about. No, you're doing fine. Under the circumstances, come on, man. I'm just happy to have you. So
thank you.
You know what? Let's so here, I wanted to talk to you guys about this since Shabby brought it up. Bailey, over to you. Whoops, let's do that. There's a stormtrooper in the Sarlacc. I didn't know. I realized the end. Return of the Jedi is not one of your main jams, but what's going on here? Any idea, or is just this simple plot device for a writer?
Again, this is something I don't understand, and it's funny. Return of the Jedi is actually my favorite one of the original. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. This was another thing I saw, and I'm like, oh, huh. Yeah, I don't know. I can't explain it. And it's not like they were going to explain it to us either. So yeah, I don't know.
Do you purely a plot device? It was so he could get oxygen.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I was going to say, did they take the easy way out here? Then Josh is out here. Let's get this in here. So there's a little bit more tension, but at the end of the day.
Well, I mean, you could consider it the easy way, but in my opinion, it complicated matters, because if he has this sealed suit that is going to keep out air and he needs air, then why is his skin so burned up when he gets out of the Sarlacc, when his armor and his little jumpsuit are barely scorched? Did the stomach acid just seep past all of that and attack his skin directly? I don't understand that. You would think that his armor and part of his jumpsuit would have been a little bit, I mean, there were some small burn spots, but it should have been far more damage than that. You should have seen part of the armor kind of melted if it actually got to his head and everything like it seemed to. So I don't understand that, especially if it's a sealed helmet.
That's an excellent point. So I canonized it in my head that when he heated up the interior, his armor got hot and burned him, and that white suit is kind of like an asbestos suit. So that's how I made sense in my head, so that I could continue to watch and not be upset. So I want to ask you guys this, Bailey. Let's go over to you again, if you don't mind, ma'am, and then Josh, I'd like you to weigh in on this. This guy here, there we go. I'm getting used to doing this again, Bailey. He comes out of the hole. It's pretty anticlimactic. Maybe it's because we've been waiting 40 years to see it. I don't know. But is it your impression when you guys saw that, Bailey specifically, that the Sarlacc is now dead in the background? It didn't like it was moving.
assume, I would think so, because from what we understand, he kind of like burned his way out.
Mhm.
So I would think so, but again, it's like you said, it was very anticlimactic. It's funny, they spent a lot of time on other stuff instead of the stuff that I think we would have wanted to see. So
Mhm.
like a more elaborate of this, but this was just like, oh, he's in the stomach. Oh no, stormtrooper. Oh, he burned himself out. Now he's out. Done.
Done.
Um,
Yeah.
so yeah. Yeah, I guess he's dead. It was that quick where it's like, all right, we're moving on.
Because my supposition, Josh, and I'd like you to weigh in on this one, is that one of two things: his flamethrower killed it from the inside because that's where it's most vulnerable, or the explosion from the sail barge killed it. What do you have any opinions on that, or what do you think happened there?
Yeah, I would assume that it was him burning his way out. That's
Okay.
kind of the impression that I get from it too. I definitely don't think it was a sail barge. I got the imagery when he's inside the stomach seemed like it was still alive to a certain extent. So
Mhm.
I feel like once he burned his way out, that would, if it's dead, that would have been what killed it. But again, I would have rather it have still been alive and kind of struggling and fighting back with him to a certain extent. Like, where's the money? Come on. I get being a little cheap in the middle episodes because that's where you kind of want to focus on storytelling and character building. But first episode and last episode, that's where you put your money. You want to grab them and then you want to end on a bang, so you can keep them.
Yeah, I would not disagree with you on that. So we got really quick. There's J Squared. Good to see you.
Hey, JJ.
I lost the comment, Bailey, but Linda said earlier it's still better than Bad Batch.
I'm with you, Linda. And we're not going to go there because I still got to save my rage for later. So.
Right. Oh my God. And then of course, Brandon, if you need knowledge on anything, Brandon can bring it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So apparently you could hear the heart pumping while he was still inside. So it was alive. I think it's dead now because he burned
now
himself
it's
out.
dead for sure.
Okay.
I would think. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So they're doing this. And for me, it was a little jarring at first, but they're doing this present past. For me, what really, and then we'll move on. What was really cool about that scene, and someone put it up, and the comments are going so fast I can't keep up, but I apologize. But you see the wreckage of the sail barge. And for me, when he came out of that sand, I'm such a fanboy. Just knowing that a couple of hours earlier, Han Solo and Luke Skywalker and the droids were right there. That's the only thing that made that scene cool for me.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. I mean, the wreckage looked cool, and I was excited about it. But again, it brings back questions that I have, like how did Bib Fortuna survive? And then this episode didn't help by us seeing what I assume is Max Rebo playing at that other cantina. It's like, okay, well, wasn't he on the sail barge too? Like, did all these guys just kind of duck out right before? Like, they're, oh, the show's over. They're gonna watch the guy get dumped into the Sarlacc, so we're gonna bounce, and then they just left. I mean, I guess, but explain that to us. Like, why do I have more questions than I have answers? And I want to have some questions, but not these kind of questions. Not the logistics of it all. Come on, like I shouldn't have to figure in my head why things are the way they are. It's the same issue that they had with the storytelling in the sequels. Like there is no story. Like it doesn't make any sense. It's just things happening, and none of it really connects together in any logical way, and there's not enough explanation to actually make any of it make any sense. So I don't know. I hate seeing little things like that. And again, I hate to be nitpicky. And I love Bad Batch. So there you go. But the reality of it is I just, yeah, and I said before, I'm not a Boba Fett fan. So coming into this, I was skeptical, but I was hopeful, and I wanted them to impress me, and it looked cheap. All of it just felt cheap to me. It could have been so much more, and like I said before, I wanted the visuals to really stun me. I wanted them to break new ground with this show, just like they have with prior stuff, and I don't feel like they did with this. I feel in many ways they made steps backwards. But we'll get into that later.
Bailey, before we move on from this topic, any last words on his initial escape from the Sarlacc pit?
It was just anticlimactic. Yeah, I don't have much else to say. And I think that's clearly that's how they felt about it too. They didn't put effort into it, therefore it's like, all right, I'll just accept it for what it is. We're just moving past it. So
I think Christian and a couple of other people, for the most part, the chat agrees with you guys. And it's weird because for people who are just getting here, you're like, what is this thing? Why do we need to see this? And for people who've been around for 40 years and have been desperately waiting to see what happened, it was like, that's it. And I'm out. Yeah, really?
Yeah.
So it was very disappointing. Very disappointing. There's someone I want to acknowledge that's been in here for a little while. Michael Hendrickson. Good to see you, man. Michael's been with me since the very beginning, back when I was doing this with my cell phone there, Josh. In the comments, if somebody wants to talk about that, and I'll pull it up, there's an Easter egg apparently on the Stormtrooper's arm in the Sarlacc. I'd be interested to know what that is. Yeah. Rick, just give it 2 weeks, Josh. It'll disappoint you even worse. I don't think that's what he meant, but
yeah, I know it's early, so I'm assuming that it will get better, but I'm definitely going to need some more. So we'll see.
Yeah. So you brought up Max Rebo, and a lot of people are mentioning that. We'll get to that eventually. And you broke Luke's heart. So they're doing this flashback current thing. The first thing we see is him accepting tributes. And Bailey, I don't, like I said, I never assume how much you know about the original trilogy. So we'll start with you. But I did briefly get a kick out of this sadistic son of a gun that they've got with them that's introducing everybody. That's from Return of the Jedi. Did you recognize this guy?
Yeah, he was the one that tortured the Gonk droid. Yeah.
So do they program droids to be like this, or do they have AI that eventually gets them to the point where they want to kill and maim and listen to things wail, or what's going on?
Hard to say. They won't explain a lot of things to us, so I guess it's up to you. Whatever you think they're doing.
Yeah, 8D8. Josh, did you recognize this guy? What did you think of them throwing him in there?
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously it's fan service, but yeah, it's cool to see. I mean, you obviously the droids would still be chilling in the palace, so it's kind of cool that they're working for Boba now. I thought that was nice. And I love seeing the palace at the beginning, like just all the empty hallways and things like that. Like those are some great shots.
Yeah. John's got a point. Well, IG-88's a murder droid. Fair enough, John. Fair enough. And then, of course, I was waiting for you to go, yeah, I saw him on the sail barge as well. What's he doing here? So, because I didn't remember or not. So, okay, fair enough. Jason says he is a torture droid. That's what he's specifically programmed for. I guess that's a fair and simple point. Josh, over to you. So they're doing the tributes, and and people are coming in and they're talking, and they get a little humorous here. Gets a little lighthearted. Oh, we need a protocol droid. What did you think of the way they did that scene to start this off?
Again, it wasn't necessarily the tone that I wanted. As much as I love having Fennec Shand in the series, I feel like her role is almost too prominent to a certain extent. It's the book of Boba, not the book of Boba and his pal Fennec. I just I don't know. It came off too silly to me, and I want more seriousness from the show. I don't know what else to say about that. I enjoyed it, and it was fun, and it was interesting, and it was informative to a certain extent. You could kind of get a feel for who is going to be subservient and who isn't, and little Easter eggs like the Wookiee pelt that was given to him and whatnot. But it just again, their banter back and forth came off. It all came off very forced and kind of silly, and I didn't want it to be that way.
Yeah, Bailey, as they were going through this scene where he's kind of casual for being Boba Fett, you heard Josh. What did you think of what was going on here because you had a different perspective?
This is probably the first time I was really questioning Boba's ability to be a ruler, period. Because the torture droid seemed more knowledgeable than he did. Fennec Shan seemed more knowledgeable about how to run things than Boba did. And I kind of left this episode more confused than anything else because, you know, Boba Fett's been portrayed to us as like this badass, like best, you know, bounty hunter in the galaxy. And then he like, you know, he takes his throne, but that he doesn't know how to rule. And he's very reliant on not only the people around him, but like a bacta tank too. So this is where I was like, okay, I'm a little concerned on how this is going to pan out. Because to be a formidable ruler, to take Jabba's place, you kind of need to know what you're doing, especially if you're dealing with a bunch of crime lords and like this guy, you know, he was able to be like, yeah, you know what, I'm not giving you anything, try me, and they just kind of let him go. So he's not really establishing himself as like a ruler. So yeah, I kind of looked at that as more confused than anything else.
Well, he's never really been a ruler, though. He's always been, I mean, he was a gun for hire, basically. He was in every way a follower. He just did whatever the person that paid him told him to do. And I feel like part of it's sort of meant to be kind of it's in the title, A Stranger in a Strange Land.
Right.
It's meant to parallel the backstory that we're being told with he and the Tusken Raiders about, him being a stranger in their society and slowly earning their trust and whatnot and learning how the inner workings of their society work. It's to parallel the fact that he's not familiar with that position within the underworld and he's trying to feel out how all of that works. So that's kind of what I took from it. But at the same time, it does make him look very weak right off the bat.
Right.
I mean, you literally start with him in this bacta tank. So,
right.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't instill a lot of, wow, Boba Fett's a badass in my mind.
Right.
So.
And my logic is if you plan on ruling, you should have an idea of how to do it before you shoot somebody and take over. I get that, like, you're not, like, you didn't go to school for this. I get, like...
But you should at least have a plan.
You should have a plan. Don't kill somebody and be like, I don't know, Fennec, what should I do? And, like, just, like, did you understand what he said? We should get a protocol droid. I think it's silly. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think anything that you guys are saying is off the mark or rubbing me the wrong way. I was just uncomfortable for this whole thing going. Of the 747 ways I thought they might start this, I knew it was going to be a little documentary-like, but I was like, it was a little strange. So who knows? And, Bailey, of course, mentioned it. Why is this fool still alive? Come on, man. It's Boba Fett. So we'll turn your back on me. But anyway, we'll move on from there.
Fennec did offer to kill him. So, yeah. Good Lord. It's happening to us, too. The Russian bots have been bad, you guys. So forgive me for a second. Let me block that one, too. I need to do, what do you call those modulators or moderators or something? Because anyway, this one won't even go away. It won't let me block it. All right. So if you see Russian characters as a name, don't click on that. Everybody knows that for now, but they've been hitting everybody in their streams. Yeah, John. I love John because he's always contrary. He did have a plan. Boba killed Bib because he was ruling the old way. Boba's plan was to rule with honor and respect. I respectfully go, Bailey, right.
Go.
And it's good to have that ideal, but you should still have a plan. Like, you should still, like, that would be like me as a teacher saying, I want to be a good teacher. I want to be respectful and blah, blah, blah. I still got to have a plan on how to do it. Otherwise I'm going to suck. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
I think he has a plan. He just doesn't really understand the logistics of what he's trying to accomplish. Right.
There's what do you call them? The combat arms, and then there's logistics specialists, and logistics clearly ain't his jam. Am I right? Mm-hmm. I got a kick out of this. I have some questions. Josh, let's start with you on this one. So these Gamorrean guards had worked for the two crime lords prior, and they were captured, or they refused to surrender. Refused to surrender to who? I thought it was just Fennec and Boba. Any idea what's going on here?
Well, I mean, who is that dude that's off to the side that has them? I mean, like, I don't know. Obviously, he's recruited some other people, I guess, along the way. Maybe there are people that worked with or for Fennec. I don't know, but my bigger question is, why is it that the Gamorrean guards in the newer shows look faker than the ones from Return of the Jedi in 1983? Like that's just my opinion. And did they lose weight? Like, were they malnourished under Bib? Is that why Bib was so fat, because he was eating all the food that the Gamorrean guards were supposed to be eating? Like, I don't know. I'm a little disappointed. They don't look. And I felt the same way in that episode of Mando, where I guess it wasn't at the premiere of season 2 when they're fighting in that gladiator sort of arena underground boxing match thing, and his 2 Gamorrean guards, and I thought they looked super fake and weird then, and it's, I don't know, is this the same 2 guys? Like, what's going on with them? Are we going to find out they have a whole backstory and there's 2 dudes that have been doing underground fighting and other crazy stuff? I don't know. I don't know. They look weird to me. I mean, it looks like they're wearing Halloween masks.
That it does. So, yeah, but your supposition is that the Fennec and Boba have hired on some other help, which is who this guy with the red eye in the background is, and that's
possibly,
who?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
Bailey, did you have any supposition on that?
No, I mean, unless my priorities are different, but I was just waiting for the plot to happen, I guess, instead of paying attention on how good people look. I don't know. Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on it.
Well, they look like guys in cosplay to me, like really bad. I don't know.
We're like just breaking people's hearts. I'm just glad that he's not on me this time.
I know it's not this time, Bailey. Oh,
I'm enjoying it.
God. Oh, so here you go.
Sorry,
First of all, Josh, you're here for this specific reason. I love you, brother. Don't you ever stay who you are. I love Rolando. Oh, by the way, good to see you.
Rolando.
Yeah, the Gammy guards are eating Dino's pancakes and working out. Maybe oh my God, that's
they got some buff legs. I mean, they got some thick thighs. I'll give them that. But
yeah, THICC thick. But this actually made sense to me when he spared them. That as a new leader makes sense to me. So yeah. Oh my God. Okay.
And I like how Fennec was sort of hesitant about it, and how later it turned back around to have worked out in Boba's favor by granting them that they saved him in the end. So,
Brandon, you and me both, brother. It could have been us on that stage. I got the one. It would have been great. So, and it's true, David. I think each person, prefers a different version of them. I'm just going to let Josh have his and move. That's why I like being the moderator. I don't have to give you my opinion much. So it works out great. You know what? Here we go. Josh and I, or not Josh, Brandon and I could have gotten a Grammy for playing Gammies.
That's music, Paul.
2 cents. Okay. Oh, that is music. Okay. Bailey with the segue. What in the house? Look at you. You couldn't even see what I had up. Bailey, I like to go to you on this one because you're the younger of us, and the original trilogy came out, when we were kids. First of all, do you recognize these characters? Do you think they're who they look like they are? And do you recognize the song? Go, Bailey.
Of course I did. Before the prequels came out, I was exposed to these movies first. So yeah, these are, the same people, I believe, that we saw in the original Cantina scene, and they were playing the same song. So yeah, and that was a nice callback. So yeah, of course they do.
Perfect. Josh, really quick, and then I'll go back to you, Bailey, because I want to hear your thoughts on these characters. On the song and the song alone, did you like that there was a reworking of that song in there? Or did that kind of hit you as cheesy?
No.
It was cool, I thought. It was definitely 100,000% the fan service. There was really no purpose behind it otherwise. But yeah, it was okay. But again, why is Max Rebo there? I'm just saying, why?
We're going to go to Bailey. Bailey, you obviously know that looks like Max Rebo. He's playing the same instrument. Is that him, or is that another blue guy that looks exactly like him playing the same instrument? What do you think?
I mean, it could be either way. Like I said, I guess my priorities lie elsewhere, but I don't know. It could be, because it could be a different alien. I don't know. It's not like he's wearing a name tag, so.
And Figuring Dan over here on the guitar, is that a different Bith, or do you think that's one of the original Cantina band? Same answer, probably.
Could be. I mean, yeah, it's not like they're gonna tell us. So
Well, obviously, the
Yeah.
band broke up if that's him because he's playing with someone else now.
Right, and they can't even get a real drummer. They've got an R2 unit in the back playing drums. Yeah, Josh, your supposition, is that Max? Is that Figuring, and or is it not?
I don't know. In order for me to sleep better at night because they look weird to me, yeah, I'll say there's someone else.
Okay.
Because it just, again, it's odd to me how the production value went up yet somehow went down. A big focus on Lucas's part was to make everything look lived in, to make it look like this was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, that it existed for thousands of years. And then you see these guys and everything just, it looks too clean and well kept, especially for Tatooine. Like, when did that place get so fancy? And again, why are we still there? Like, why in the hell is this, for it to be such a hole in the wall nowhere, like Luke complained about? Like, why does everything that happens in Star Wars happen on Tatooine? Like, come on, can we go anywhere else? Anywhere.
no.
Bailey,
They
please
wanna
answer
keep
this
you
one.
angry. Yeah.
I guess so.
To be fair, it did start on Tatooine. Okay.
I-
Like, no
yeah,
matter
I-
what,
sure,
Yeah, like
I'll give you
Tatooine's
that.
always going to be a central location, but I understand what you're saying.
That's a rant
Josh,
for another day.
No. I tell you what, I am so glad that at least for this show we have you two. I cannot believe last episode you were like, I'm not sure what I'm going to talk about. I don't know if I can talk long enough. This has been you're doing great. Yeah, no doubt. Oh my God, at least they weren't playing that thing. God. Oh. Thank you, JT. I'm gonna have nightmares tonight. Oh my God. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Thanks. It has to take place on Tatooine. That's where
It
Jabba's
has to,
palace is.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thanks, Chris. I'm just kidding, brother. You know I love you. Josh, you touched on something that I'd like to hear Bailey's opinion on. And you put it in a much more succinct shell than I was able to wrap around in my head. This felt like, you remember the Battlestar Galactica from the 70s, which was really clean, but it was still supposed to be Star Wars. This kind of felt like that. It was a little too crisp when I was watching, and I just realized that. I'm like, what feels off here? Bailey, did you catch that? Do you agree, or are you getting a different vibe especially from this cantina scene?
I mean, I'm not surprised that things are going to look different just because of, who's in charge of Star Wars now. Funding's different. Yeah, and I think a lot of it has to do with they're trying to make Star Wars more appealing to everybody. So like, what's a big deal to some people is, I don't know. I really I'm not surprised. I personally did not have issue with any of like the aesthetic stuff.
Mhm.
My issue lied in with the plot and the story and things adding up. So I guess I'm a terrible person to ask this, but yeah, I did not look at a single thing. The only thing that I was like really like appearance-wise was the sand creature towards the end. That was the only time I was like, wow, really? But besides that, as far as, aliens looking a certain way, locations, I had no grievances there. So maybe that's just my young self coming out, but I did not have grievances.
Since when do sand people wear black robes? That's all I'm saying.
They just do,
like little things like that. Like, when did that suddenly happen? They didn't in Mandalorian. We didn't see any black robed sand people in Mandalorian. Since when did that happen? They just got to be different.
You just gotta accept it.
Bailey, you are
change things.
You are so off the hook.
You're asking for too much, sir.
Oh my God. You are so off the hook this series because Josh, I can already see, is going to be the one getting the hate DMs. Oh my God. Josh, you're one of my new best friends.
I can't wait.
Join the club.
Yeah. Yeah. There's another way we'll be disappointed. Shabby's just looking for to the new Book of Boba Fett Black Series figures that we'll never be able to get. Oh my God. Now, going back to what Bailey said, though, I'm glad to hear you say that, though, because once again, the older guys are looking at this from a different perspective where stuff was, especially in the 70s and 80s, it was nice and grainy, looked lived in, and they could get away with crazy stuff because you'd never see it on screen. I could go on for hours about Easter eggs we've found since they went to 4K. So to hear you say, no, it looked fine to me because that's what I'm used to, Coruscant, Naboo. I think that's great, Bailey. So don't ever hold back just because Josh is over there breathing fire through the camera.
I will not. I'm not afraid of anybody. So
Yeah, I didn't think you were. Last thing on the Cantina, Jessica Biels. Bailey, we'll stick with you. And then Josh, okay. I promise I'll go back to you. Give you a minute to rest your vocal cords. Yeah. What did you think of this character? And I'm gonna ask for an early prediction. Friend or foe, Bailey? And what did you think of how they represented her?
It's hard to say because she was on screen not for a long time. I mean, like, they made it seem like in the promo stuff, like, oh, this is going to be like, I mean, granted, it is the first episode. We'll probably get more down the line. I understand that. But it literally was a, hi, how are you? I'm in charge now. Okay. You want a drink? No, I think we're good. Right, bye. It was that quick. So we don't know a lot about her right now. We just know that she runs this very clean place, and and she seems friendly right now. But yeah, I think maybe that's done on purpose, that this is supposed to be quick, and we'll find out more. But judging by her behavior, I'm assuming friend. Because I did not get any weird vibes, but then again, she was only on screen for like 2 minutes. So
here's a writer's question for you then. This just popped into my head. I want to ask you this specifically, Bailey.
Okay.
Would it have been better in this episode if they hadn't gone around and started introducing a bunch of characters? This one episode could have been flashbacks and him dealing with her. And then next episode, he could have dealt with a different crime boss or something. Would that have been better, do you think, rather than just throwing them all in at once?
Yeah, because my main grievance with this episode is I feel like we spent way too much time on flashbacks instead of progressing what's going on in the present day or moving this current plot forward. I think flashbacks definitely have a purpose, but I think we have to be strategic about it. It should be like spread out throughout the series, and it should be like applicable, like give context to things happening in the present day, which is what they did in Mandalorian. Okay, like Mandalorian was pretty slow paced first. It was a slow burn, but we were still progressing, like with the, the plot, and flashbacks came when it was applicable. So to me, I think, maybe we should have spent more time with this lady to understand who is she, and what is it's absolutely, and especially if we only have 7 or so episodes to work with, and the crime syndicates is huge. We're going to be dealing with a lot of people. Yeah, they should dedicate more time to this instead of putting me to sleep with some of these flashbacks. So we should have spent more time with her, because what I'm afraid of is like we only have so much time, and these episodes are pretty short too. You can only get so much done in 40 minutes. Yeah, she should have been on screen longer than 2 minutes. I need to know what is going on in the present day. What do we care about in the present day? Not so much stuck in the past, because it got in the way with this. So yeah.
Fair enough. Really quick, Josh, I'm going to put you on hold for just a second, and then I'm going to ask you the same thing. Sarah Taylor, we all know who that is. Oh, and she's on her shooting YouTube account. That's great. Needs to give a little something for everybody to engage the fans. Yet, you know what? I can kind of see that. Not bad for someone who doesn't care anything about Star Wars and has never watched any of it except for the last episode with Luke. And then there was something I wanted to throw up. This is why we love Josh. I think they filled the helmet with money, so he had to carry it and wouldn't be able to wear it when they were. I didn't even think about that. That's brilliant, Brandon. Josh, on those 2 points that I just brought up, and in general, would you rather have seen more of one crime boss or the way they did it? And what did you think of those 2 points?
I was okay with the way that they did it. I feel like they wanted to just kind of throw a little bit of everything out there and kind of give us all an appetizer for what was to come, and then they'll delve more into each individual character and those relationships later. I think she's going to be hugely important. I think that she's a businesswoman. She gets it. She understands that there's certain obligations that she has to fulfill in order to keep certain parties happy so that she can do what she wants to do. However, if the moment rises for her to move past that onto something better, she's going to take advantage of it if it's a smart business decision. So I do feel like eventually her character is going to be faced with some choices, particularly having to choose between Boba and someone else. And the question is really going to be, who is she going to choose? Nice. And that could be where his leading with respect is going to come into play. If he can actually earn her respect as a person, as opposed to just as an employer to an employee, then maybe it'll be different. So we'll see if she sides with him or not. But yeah, I think she's going to be hugely important down the road.
Agree. And not to be contradictory, the hilarious thing about these shows, especially Mando's, we've learned that just because they use a big actor, Timothy Olyphant, doesn't mean you're going to see them all season 2. They one and done. So that, people were saying online, it's Jennifer Beals, so she's going to be around for a while. Well, so I'll be interested to see how that pans out. But yeah, well, good. Those are some good observations, some good comments, and we got a lot of people are agreeing with you guys. We got a couple of contradictory opinions in there, but anybody could be right, and I get that point too, Chris. I didn't want him to spell out the whole thing, but it seemed a little scattered to me. Bailey?
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Chris. I don't want to be spoon-fed everything right off the bat. I need to be engaged. That's my problem. Not spoon-fed, engaged. Okay? That's what I'm going with.
I think that's a good analogy. Okay, so they leave Max Rebo's band, Cantina, with Jessica Biel's in there. And Josh, I'm going to go back over to you so you can go first on this one. I'm not even going to offer you my opinion. What did you think of this, and who sent these people?
Well, I know there's a lot of rumors online that it might be Crimson Dawn, but I don't see where they're going to play into it at this point. I honestly think that it's someone that was sent by the mayor. They look almost like some sort of SWAT team or special unit or something to that effect. They basically have riot gear. And I feel like they were basically sent by the mayor to maybe not necessarily subdue them, but harass them to a certain extent and bully them into subjugation to him. And right now, basically, Boba's having to deal with that rivalry to a certain extent, and he's going to have to deal with this mayor sooner rather than later. And I think that that's kind of what this is indicating.
Before I go over to Bailey, a couple of thoughts on the fight choreography here. Did you like it? If you didn't or did they do it that way on purpose? Because we talked about this pre-show, and my opinion. Josh?
Oh, are we talking to me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought we lost you for a second. Yeah, did you? All right, I'll just say it. This was the weirdest, lamest fight I've seen in.
It was terrible. Yeah.
Okay. Right. I'm like, what? They're just kind of.
Okay. No, and I to a certain extent chalk it up. I mean, I enjoy some of the work that Robert Rodriguez has done, but I felt like Boba's big fight scene in Mandalorian was lame in the episode on Tython, where I don't know. I was a little bit disappointed. It's just very sluggish, and I know it's supposed to be more brutal or whatever, but I don't get that. I feel like it's more like this guy's old and can't really fight. So, and we don't want to use stunt doubles, so we're just going to make it really simple. And yeah, I was disappointed.
Fair enough. Oh, that's something I forgot to bring up at the very beginning, because Jason makes a point here. We had been under the impression that everything we saw in the trailers was during the first episode, and now we know that's not the case, because there was stuff in the trailers we did not see in this episode. So yeah, the fight was very Xena Warrior Princess. That's so awesome, man. Yeah, I agree. Bailey, when you saw this, did you think it was choreographed well? They did it on purpose like that? What's going on? What'd you think?
This was another instance where I was concerned about Boba's competency to be this ruler, because it was confusing. He's guess all it takes to hold against your own against this master assassin and the best bounty hunter in the galaxy is to have a big enough force field. That was confusing to me. Like nobody could like maneuver or whatever, or use your weapon. So yeah, that whole thing was very sloppy and messy to me. And there were moments where I'm like, wait, did he kill that guy? Wait, he's saying that guy's still alive. Okay, but I thought he just like shot him. Like very confusing. But then he gets hit and he's like, oh my God, I need to get back into the Bactapod. So I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, and that's concerning because again, Tatooine is a very, person eat person type world.
Rough and tumble.
Yeah, exactly. Like whoever is it's survival of the fittest. So if you're going to be in charge, again, not only should you know what you're doing, how things run, how to establish dominance, but you should be able to hold yourself against a fight. I'm not taking that these ninjas should be more skilled than a bounty hunter and again a master assassin, especially one that has like a robot body too. It's just like I don't know. I watched that and I'm just like, this is concerning. That was like my overarching thing of like, I'm concerned because there's going to be bigger and badder things coming Boba's way. And you can't exactly run to a Bacta tank right away. So, yeah.
Very, very true.
Concerning.
2 or 3 things in this episode were the low points for me. And seeing the Gamorrean guards drag him we used the word last time, Josh, like a punk back to the Bacta tank. People, he's still in the process of healing. Well, then maybe he shouldn't took over yet. When you saw the Gamorrean guards dragging him back, and it's supposed to be big bad Boba Fett, did that bother you, or are you cool with how they did?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely bothered me because, like David Carell was saying in the chat, it seems like there's a purpose behind why they're kind of portraying him this way, as sort of weak, but at the same time, why did they start out by portraying him very strong still? That first episode in Mandalorian, like he tore up all those stormtroopers like it was nothing. I mean, the whole point of that was to show that he's still a badass. So where did that go? What changed in this little bit of time? So yeah, it is kind of curious as to why, like what the purpose of it would be and why would they feel the need to backpedal like that. I thought kind of the whole point of this was to prove to us why he is who he is.
Yeah. I got 2 Boba Fett helmets in my house that say he's supposed to be a badass. And thus far, I'm a little confused by his behavior. So I'm glad to hear that I'm not the only one. And you guys are kind of like, I'm not sure what's going on here. So, alrighty. And we're getting some great comments in the comments section. I really appreciate everybody participating. There's so many. It didn't used to be like this when we first started Bad Batch, Bailey, remember? But now there's so much. I used to put up every comment. I can't put up every one now because there's just so many. So thank you guys. And then Gilster, it bothered me. They had spandex on their knees apparently. I didn't even catch that. So that's interesting. So from the fight scene, they drag him back to the Bacta tank, and the Bacta tank seems to be their plot device to trigger old memories. And so we go back to the past again, and we get this, Josh, the youngling, or Bailey. We're going to start with you, Bailey. I apologize. Bailey, we get the youngling Tusken Raider taking him somewhere. It was my impression that he was taking him to sell them or something. And they see this, which there's no context, and we know what's going on, but we don't know why it's in there. What did you think of this, and what do you think's going on, or why did they put this here?
Again, this was like an instance where I said earlier that if we're going to do flashbacks, it should make sense, and it should provide context to what's going on in the present. I feel like in the first episode, like if something in the present day was very similar to the activity we're seeing, this would be like a good cue to see this. I honestly cannot say. I feel like I've been force-fed so many flashbacks that I can't even remember all of them. And I couldn't tell you, why they're important to the story yet. I don't even know what the story of Book of Boba Fett is yet. And I should know that by episode 1. Again, not spoon-fed, but I should be engaged. I should have an idea of where we're going, and I do not know that yet. So like when I watched this, I was just like thinking in my mind back to like the Kenobi book. I know it's legends, but it's still out there, literature that exists. And like this activity was pretty like Tatooine's pretty rough. Like it's not uncommon to know that hey, if you're out in the middle of nowhere, these bad people might try to like, rob you or whatever. So that's what I was thinking is we're just seeing like everyday petty crime. I don't recognize that symbol, have no idea who that is. This is going to be a crime boss we see later down the road, but again, this is something we should have seen when it made sense to show it. So yeah, I don't really know what to say about this because it doesn't provide me any context to what's going on in the present day. So I hope they explain this later.
Josh, supposition, thoughts on that?
Yeah, well, with the mark being so prominent on the wall, I think that's obviously what we need to be looking at and focusing on, and that's probably going to be some group that will pop up later, and Boba will have had this previous experience, so he knows not to trust them or whatever the situation may be. But also, it obviously harkens back to Luke and the homestead in Episode 4, and it also could make one go so far as to conjecture, did Boba Fett kill Owen and Beru? Is that why Vader told him no disintegrations in Empire? Because the last time he hired him for a job, he disintegrated the people he was sent after. So, it could very well be a flashback that triggers a further flashback into the history of him as a character.
Those are good points you both made. When you start thinking about it like that, Josh, it makes a little bit more sense, but I don't know, maybe I'm a simple viewer. I'm with Bailey. It was a little awkward. I'm like, where were they going? Where was this youngling taking them? Why were we going? It's cool.
And why is that youngling wearing black robes? I'm just saying.
because it is Josh. He decided to wear black.
Can't that be hot? Come on, it's a desert planet. They have 2 suns.
As someone who lives in real life Tatooine, people wear black here too. They just decide to wear black.
Oh my God! Oh, let's get a.
They
really
want to
quick...
be goth sand people.
I guess so.
God sand people. Yeah, they did look a little. They looked a little god. You know who else they reminded me of? They reminded me of Fleetwood Mac in like the late 70s with all that stuff on. So, really quick, there's Ed 5. Yeah, good to see you, man. And Linda has a question. I think I know the answer, but Josh or Bailey, is that Crimson Dawn's emblem?
I thought theirs was kind of like a sun with like a couple little arches, sort of circle thing.
If I remember correctly,
Kira had or whatever. Yeah.
So I don't think that's Crimson Dawn. I think that's someone else. Hell, they may even be local. Who knows? So, here we go. Rick, Lord Fett hears everything you say, Josh. Oh my God, that cracks me up. There we go. Yeah. I think those Tuscans in black praise the late Darth Vader.
They awesome. Just want to be goth.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Bailey, let's go over to you. So Tatooine, moisture farms everywhere, water tax, difficult to find water. It's, it's crazy hot. There's no water anywhere, but who knew? It's just as easy as wandering through the desert and digging in the sand. What did you think of that?
I thought it was ridiculous. It was literally just an excuse for us to see this sand monster that nobody asked for. Yeah. Wow, Paul, maybe that's what we should do. Let's go outside and start digging for water. Right. Apparently it's accessible that way.
Josh, what did you think of this?
Yeah, apparently you can get water from a rock. I don't know. Like it didn't make any sense to me. And yeah, you're right. It's contradictory to kind of everything that's been established about Tatooine. Obviously, it's a little bit easier to find water than we thought. And again, it does. Perhaps it does somehow tie to this creature that they run into, but that's a whole other thing.
Hold on. We're almost there.
Yeah.
I want to go over a couple of comments, and that's where we're going next. Josh, get ready because you're going to be up for this next one. So Jason, I didn't realize that the Tusken Raider who kicked Boba's butt was a female. It was a female actress under that. So maybe I'm
totally
weird.
Female.
You can look and tell. And I think they deliberately made her headdress with the long hair things. Yeah. Bailey, did you notice that the one that beat him up, I think she's the matriarch of the clan.
Yeah. And that made sense because I'm, again, thinking back to the Kenobi book and the antagonists were like a group of sand people and it was run by a female. So yeah, and that's how they describe their outfit.
Cool. And I'm not gonna lie, I thought that was kind of cool. Do you guys think that was, it's a break from what we see all the time? You're cool with that?
No, I thought it was cool, and I'm all for them expanding more on the culture of the Tusken Raiders. I feel like that's a group of aliens that we've never really learned much about. They just kind of were there, and they were sort of simplified by the plot. And I think this has given them an opportunity to actually be developed as characters within the Star Wars universe. So yeah, I'm all for it. And I'm okay with the black robes. I just think it's kind of it looks cool.
Are you?
But it doesn't make any. It just doesn't make any sense in the desert. I'm just saying.
I know. Again, it doesn't make sense why people wear black in Arizona either, but we still do it.
Well, it's Arizona. There you go.
Oh, okay. All right. First of all, I want to show you guys this because this is why I love me some Brandalord, and I'm so glad he's back in the chat. It's the cave in hoodies, you guys. I told you. I want to see something.
Sorry, Brandon.
Yeah. You guys should have known this. Let's see what we got going on here. Oh my God. So Brandon just sent me this on my phone. I'm not going to take the time to download it and everything. I'm just going to stick it up to the camera. It's the Huttese alphabet he just sent me. So Nal Huttese. So that's how he knows. Yay. Brandon, you're the man. You're the man, brother. I appreciate it. And it's going to pop up later and be important. Oh, yeah. They also had a fashion sense and clean gargs. Yeah. So let's go down here. There you go, JT. What's wrong with digging for space coconuts? And yeah, I'm stalling a little bit here, Josh. Okay, just so you know, I'm stalling. Let's see. It's the JL's Justice League symbol to save the day.
It looks like it.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised at this point.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of people were saying they could tell it was a female instantly. And maybe I'm weird. I don't know. I spent too many years identifying suspects or something, but you could the shape of her body, it was clearly a female to me. So yeah, okay. So everybody else wants to talk about it. So we're just going to get into it. Josh, take a deep breath. They're digging around, and who's just chilling in the sand? Because, that's what he would do. All yours, baby. Tell me what you thought.
It's the sand kraken. Man, it's what?
And we lost him, Bailey.
Yeah, of course we did.
We lost him.
He was so excited to talk about.
He was so ready, and we lost him.
Man, I think you were getting concerned earlier. Yeah.
We'll see, Bailey. We're gonna because he looks gone this time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for us video gamers or guys who played Mortal Kombat, this guy reminds us of Goro. But if you go up to some of their older guys, like John, that monster was an early design of the Crate Dragon. Oh. Yeah, and it's a mishmash of two monsters from some older entertainment properties, as I recall as well. John will probably school me on that. But, well, Bailey, let's go with you. What are your thoughts on the four-armed desert lizard just chilling in the sand and how they handled this?
I could have lived without it.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, unless they wanted to throw in a Leia parallel or they needed an excuse for Boba to establish dominance with these Tusken Raiders. How many dangerous creatures are there in Tatooine? Like my goodness, you got Jawas that just, pickpocket you even when you're dying on the sand. You got Sarlacc, you got sand people, you got this guy, you got crate dragons. Like, I don't know. It's kind of redundant to me. And I've had many people who are like into Marvel say like, hey, this creature kind of looks like a thing from Spider-Man. So I don't think a lot of people took it seriously. But again, I think this existed for Boba to, I don't know, get his mojo back. I'm not sure. But yeah, I wasn't very impressed with it. It's probably my least favorite part in the whole episode.
Yeah. You know why he's gone? Rick booted him, he said. But yeah, Alan makes a good point. It reminded me of Clash of Titans when, the Harry Hamlin version, not the new one, the old one with the, and then of course, Linda, finish him, from Mortal Kombat. And then Christian, the internet could not take Josh's. I had no idea it was going to be Josh to this extent this time, Bailey. Holy crap.
I did, I think.
Fair enough.
I think he misled us because I'm telling you guys, when we first started this, he's like, I don't know. I don't think I have a lot to say, but.
Oh my goodness. You know what? Let's, so I think you mentioned something else too. And I think they did this for two reasons, fan service and to set Boba Fett up for the last scene where the Tuskens start to trust him. But this, I got a kick out of this. And you mentioned fan service, and there he is.
I'm back.
You back?
Yeah.
So
this was your topic, man.
Yeah,
I know. We finally get to the part that I want to go off about, and then yeah.
So a couple of people said that even though they weren't moderators, they kicked you. The internet couldn't handle your rage, stuff like that, Josh. So
I understand. Yeah.
We've kind of gone over some of the Clash of Titans references and stuff, but I want to give you your chance. And I legitimately wanted to hear, because I know you don't like this. Specifically, why did this rub you the wrong way?
Okay. I know a lot of people's beef with the prequels and a lot of newer Star Wars stuff in general is the use of CG and how they wanted to go back more to practical effects and old school style filmmaking, like from the original trilogy. But at the same time, like, part of what George Lucas was also trying to accomplish with Star Wars is to break new ground technologically with each thing that he did. And with this, I feel like it was a huge back step. I understand wanting to pay homage to things that had come before, but really it just felt so out of place. And for it to be in the desert, and I mean, it pretty much is exactly the Kraken from Clash of the Titans. And it just, could they have not made it look a little different? And it had this very kind of creature from the Black Lagoon sort of look in the face. And it just came off extremely silly. And also there was the Mortal Kombat aspect to it as well, Goro, and it just everything about it came off as super cheesy, and it looked very fake with Boba up on top of it choking it, and I mean, I guess that was a callback to maybe Leia choking out Jabba with the chain. I don't know what, if that was even supposed to be a reference or if it just was what it was, but I mean, either way, it just, I don't know. I was so disappointed by everything about how that scene looked and felt. So I mean, I get the point of it, but
right.
It just, yeah.
What disappointed me was I'm just going to be perfectly straightforward. The design of the monster was just silly to me. It evoked too many other things. It was beyond fan service. It was like, give me a break. So I agree with both of you. But where I was going with this before you jumped back on is there was a little bit of fan service, I think, on this one as well. And everybody saw it. I thought I was so smooth. And then I got on the internet to prepare for this day, and everybody saw it. Josh, what does this remind you of?
I don't know.
Princess Leia.
Well, I just said that. I mean, okay, I don't know.
Okay, yeah. So
you threw me for a loop. Yeah, I mean, it definitely looks like Leia choking out Jabba. Okay. Yeah,
I thought that was, so. Look closely. That is not Tamora Morrison.
Oh,
no.
Looks like Deadpool. Yeah,
this is the direct, because you guys know how I got my screenshots. This is directly from the episode. That is not Tamora. Bailey, do you think they did this on purpose, or was this just a way to be like, oh, this is how we finish it off?
I don't know. At this point, I don't know. There's so many. I'm so confused, and I really hope it gets cleaned up. I don't know. I'm feeling the Bad Batch like feelings of I don't know what these people are doing and why they're doing what they're doing. I have an idea of why, but I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Really quick point of order. I see Brandon down below. Brandon, if you're here at the end of the stream, I need to talk to you because I'm having issues here. And I want to bring you in with these two and talk to you. So hang around. And if you're interested and you can, I'll send you the link and jump in with us really fast because I need to talk to you. What do we got here? I think the monster was the equivalent of shaking keys in front of a baby. Yeah. Look pretty. Look at you guys. Look what we did. Yeah, so let's see what John has to say here. The kid had him chained up, so of course you would use the chain to kill it because it's the only weapon you have. It's not fan service. Yeah, and that's what I love about John. You know, give it a shot. Fair enough. Also, very Padme. Oh, that's right. Josh, what are you doing over there?
What?
Your screen keeps changing from horizontal to vertical. It's weird.
It's more comfortable.
Okay, do that then. You don't need to change your screen, baby. I like you just the way you are. Look at Bailey. All right, can we move on? Okay, so we're coming up on the end here. We don't get any more current situations. We get this at the end. The kid comes back, and he's obviously telling a story. And Bailey, I'm going to start with you because I want to hear what you think. He's telling a story and he's talking about how it happens and he's holding up the head and this and that and the other. And then obviously the village elder hands Tamora Morrison this water like, hey, thank you. You're cool. What do you think the kid is telling the rest of the village?
The kid must be telling the truth, because I don't think they would offer him water if they were told otherwise. And especially since it was a child that went with him too, like a youngling. Maybe like if it was an adult, I could see like an adult like lying, like, oh yeah, this man didn't do anything. I did it. But I think a kid would be like, yeah, this man saved my life. Here's proof. And yeah, I don't think they would offer him water if he wasn't telling the truth. And I think this is just going to lead into how Boba became, how he appeared when we first saw him in The Mandalorian. Like, you know, he looked like, you know, he came from like a tribe with the black robes and all that. So I think this is what this is leading into. Flashbacks are definitely not over. But yeah, I think the kid is telling the truth.
Josh, do you agree with Bailey on that?
Yeah, he's definitely telling all of them how Boba saved them and took out this creature who we may find out later that creature had somewhat been a bit of a bother for their tribe to a certain extent. And it's obvious that he's sort of being brought into the fold, and I'm certain that that's where he got his weapons and his robes and everything from. And I think it'll be fun to see him learn about their culture and become a part of it. Sort of a Dances with Wolves kind of situations. Yeah.
Glad to hear you say that. I got a real Dances with Wolves vibe off of this. So I am getting a lot of comments. Half the people are agreeing with you two. I think what happened here is that the kid came back and was like, look what I have done. I am now a real Tusken Raider, this, that, and the other. Because of the way the father's acting, he's like, yeah, sure he did. I know what happened, bro. Appreciate it. And just gave him some water. I think the kid's lying his ass off, like Flex is saying. But the elder's like, I know what really happened, bro. I appreciate it. And I thought that for me, in my little headspace, that was what was cool about this scene, because the elder's like, appreciate it, bro. So, yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah. So that's where I think we went with that. But so Josh, at this point in the show, we normally move on to your number 1 to 10 on a scale. And then we go and talk about what they did good, what they did bad, as I mentioned earlier. But before we do that, Josh, did I miss any of the scenes, any of the plot points, plot devices? Not that there were a whole lot that you wanted to touch on, that you had some opinions about that you wanted to express?
No, my big opinion was all on that thing that we saw come out of the sand. Yeah, I feel like something about the aesthetic of it all just comes off less than for me, and I don't really know how to pinpoint it exactly. It feels like a fan film. It doesn't feel like Star Wars, and I don't know why exactly, but that's just how it feels to me, and hopefully it will get better later, but I don't know. The production on it just doesn't hit me the way I want it to.
I will tell you, 90% of the reason why I think the three of us like Star Wars is because of the feels we get from it: good, bad, indifferent. And so that's a valid point. It just something doesn't feel right yet. The production's a little off, the storytelling, Boba's attitude. I'm with you, Josh. Bailey, before we move on, anything in the plot that I missed, any plot devices that you wanted to hit on or talk about before we go to the numbering?
No, I think I'm ready to rate.
Okay, let's get on it. Well, then let's stick with you, Bailey. 1 to 10, this episode only. Where are you at, my friend?
Okay, yeah, this part of the show always makes me nervous because it's like I'm just looking at the comments and please do not come for me, guys. And then I feel like, like I have to always say that, just FYI, I am always going to be happy to see new Star Wars content. I love Star Wars. I have a half sleeve on it. I love it. Make that very clear. I am not coming on here to be negative for no reason. I'm honest. Okay, I can't lie. So,
yes. All
right. With that being said, I'm just going to have to go on a 10-point scale, just down the middle, 5 out of 10. It's not great. No. I'm not blown away. It's not terrible. Like, if I saw it again on my TV, I will stop and watch it again. Okay, like, it did keep my attention. I was paying attention. I wasn't on my phone. Okay, and that happened when I had to watch Bad Batch sometimes, as I was on my phone. I was not. this time around. It was entertaining. Okay. I didn't have a problem with the aesthetic or anything like that. My issues lied with the story. I don't know what the plot of the Book of Boba Fett is. If somebody were to ask me what is the show about, I cannot say for sure besides flashbacks. Okay, so it's just down the middle. All right. And it was like I said earlier, it's not that I want to be spoon-fed everything. It's not that I want everything explained, because again, I understand this is like 40 minutes and I'm not going to know everything, especially when I have like 7 more episodes or so to go. I get that. But, and I kind of had this issue in Bad Batch too, is I want to be engaged. All right. So like the first episode shouldn't necessarily be a slow burn, and I shouldn't be confused. I should just know what's going on enough to keep me engaged for the next episode. And of course I'm going to watch episode 2, but I kind of, at the end of the episode, I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, so I'm just going to go down the middle, guys.
That's very, very fair. And I think you gave some great supporting points on that. No one can fault you for that, even if they do anyway. Josh, how about you, sir? This episode only, 1 to 10. Where are you at, sir?
Initially, I would say that I'm at a 5, like Bailey, but it's still Star Wars, and I'm still intrigued as to where the story is going to go. I'm hopeful that it will grab me the way that I want it to. So I'll give it a 6.
Once again, very, very fair. It is hard for live action Star Wars to disappoint me. They have to try. It seems like they may have put a little effort into it here, but I'm with you guys. I'm at about a 5 or 6 as well. You know, it was cool, but I'm still a little confused, and I don't feel right because it feels like a fan film. So let's hit up the comments real quick and see where everybody else is. Brandon, 8.5. Set up the issues with the mirror. Most likely the crime syndicate shows us how we'll most likely be so. I hope that they drop it into 4th or 5th gear after this one for sure. John is hovering around a 9, but he could see at 8. It's probably not the best episode. I expect something even better than this. I would agree with you on that. Let's keep going down here. There's Linda with a 7 out of 10. Not bad. GeForce, I'm giving it a 7. Left me wanting more, which I think we'll get. JT, Bailey, you ready? He did this last time too, as if you remember.
And I'm not going to repeat myself because I don't do that as a teacher either. Y'all know how I feel about it. And if you don't know me, you can go back and watch the other live stream.
Sassy. Shabby, 8.5. Okay. So I think we might be the 3 hardest people on this episode.
I know. I know we're not the only ones that feel this way, because I've seen articles, because I really thought I was crazy. Yeah.
Shabby, or excuse me, Brandon, I think the biggest issue with the look texture is because they want certain colors to pop, but with the dirt, but they're not meshing real good right now, Brandon. That's for sure. David, 8 out of 10. Fair enough. No doubt, crazy. Not a single spaceship unless you count the 1 second. I forgot about. That's a good point. Yeah. Flex is closer to us at a 6.5. Rick, it's way better the 4th time. Jason, 8.5. Gilster, there you go. Yeah, not feeling it, you guys.
Gilster, I was about to be like, oh no. I've been in this position before.
It's all good. And of course, Linda already mentioned it's still better than Bad Batch.
Yep, Linda, I'm with you 100%.
I thought Bad Batch had a much stronger start. I thought the premiere of Bad
I agree
Batch
with you. Yes, I would say Bad Batch
much more engaging.
Yeah, I agree with you. I did like that first episode better. Yes.
Galanorian, first of all, good to see you. He's at about an 8. David agrees. Lots better than Bad Batch overall. But the starts, I would rather go back and watch those first 2 or 3 episodes of Bad Batch we did, Bailey. 6 more epizones for sure. It looks like the average for the chat, John, about an 8.5. I think it's a little lower than that, but still, Linda. Linda gonna start a fight. Crazy wants to screw around too. It's 8.65.
I'm not acknowledging it.
So Joe Blake Skywalker, first of all, new name. Good to see you. When in the timeline did Boba escape the Sarlacc? I assumed it would have been like a day or so later from falling in, but there's a 5 difference. So we're getting flashbacks. I'm going to make supposition on this if you guys don't mind, then I want you to jump in. When he comes out of the Sarlacc, the wreckage from the sail barge is not even smoldering anymore. So it's at least a couple of weeks, if not more. Josh, do you have supposition on that?
Yeah, I would agree. I would say that he was probably in there for at least a week. before he popped out. Now, how much time he ends up spending with the Sand People is a whole other story.
Bailey, how long was he in the Sarlacc pit for?
Yeah, I think you guys are right. Probably, maybe at max a week. That was another thing I was questioning too in the show. Is like, wow, this guy is surviving some really intense conditions. Paul and I both live in a desert, and we know what intense heat feels like. And this guy is just being dragged around on banthas. He's out there in the sand. He's being pit-pocketed by Jawas. Plot armor is a beautiful thing. But yeah,
Bailey,
I would agree with
nobody
you guys.
gets sunburned. Nobody gets sunburned in this damn desert. I can't go outside for 5 minutes. Sorry.
I've been sun blistered.
Yeah.
Okay. Like I needed a safety pin to pop. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been there. So I'm looking at Boba like, wow, you're doing well, man. But yeah, I would agree with you guys. Based on the environment, it was definitely not immediate.
I got to put this up so I'm not the only fool doing dad jokes. Give it time, Bailey. There's a lot of back to story to fill in. Wah, 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 wah. Where's Shabby with the badoom? Nice, JT.
That's good.
Yeah, that was good. Alan, 6.8, still fun. Looking forward to more. Alan, while we got you too, stick around after if you don't mind. I want to send you a link so you can join us. I need to talk to you and Brandon, please. Let's keep going here. Yeah, Smugglers with us. I do a 6. Good, but wanted more. That's a good way to.
There you go.
That, so,
yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
Left Coast is a 10 out of 10, so I don't upset Bailey.
Gracious.
It was 11 out of 10.
No, it was 10 because there was no 11 on the scale, and Bailey understands that we're using real numbers here. So
maybe they turned it up to 11.
They 10 up to it, but these go to 11. Look that reference up, young people. Okay, Darth Muzza is at an 8 out of 10. And then Jason, I agree with Josh. Not the best start, but still got me. You know what? Still live action Star Wars. So let's keep going down. Yeah, G-Force, good point. We're going to kind of move through the rest of these so we're not here till Bailey has to go to work tomorrow. Barge-a-Tully. Yeah, see.
Actually, not this week.
Oh, okay, good. Yeah, David's got it. The Barge-a-Tully stopped burning at this point, so he was in there for a while. Because if anybody's ever seen a house fire, oh, whoops, I wasn't being sarcastic. Sorry about that, Josh. I'm dead serious. I didn't mean that. I wasn't being funny. But if you've ever seen something like a car or a building catch fire, it smolders for days afterwards, especially something that large that exploded. So, God, sorry about that, Josh. I wasn't trying to be funny.
It's okay.
There's okay. We got to throw Brandon up. If there's a 5-year gap, I'm going to move on so people don't be like, wow, Taylor, that was shitty. Between Return of the Jedi and the season, we spent years of the testing, you probably get quite a bit more of Boba in the desert. Oh, God. Okay. Well, you're probably right, Brandon. G-Force, no Spinal Tap for sure. Weeks later, so timeline, Ewoks about to eat Rebels. That's the funny thing to think about. While we're looking at the flashbacks, the OT trilogy is still at the end of Return of the Jedi still going on. So I know, Christian, I know. God, anyway, all right, well, good. Before we move on to the next section here, I'm going to put up how to get a hold of Bailey and Josh one more time. And they're down below on Twitter. So if you have any things that you'd like to tell them directly, by all means, please feel free. They're good people. Josh, I'd like to start with you, sir. Pick one thing or one concept or one character, the one thing that you're like, when you walked away, you're like, at least they did that good. What is it, sir?
Well, 8D8 was spot on. No, I enjoyed Finnick, but again, I just feel like some of the back and forth between she and Boba, it's not about not liking it. I just feel like there's a time and place for that, and for them to have that type of conversation in front of people that are supposed to be subservient to Boba, it kind of weakens him in front of them, and I don't really feel like that would be the time or place, and I don't feel like she would. I think she would know better. So it's more like about how they handled the character. But I did enjoy having her in it, and I enjoyed seeing Boba. And I did enjoy a lot of the opening shots of the episode. I am very intrigued by the I'm assuming brothel basically that they visited, and how that organization is going to end up playing into it all. I don't know. I mean, that was good, I guess.
Fair enough.
The force fields looked good.
It looked cool.
Yeah.
Bailey, over to you, ma'am. If you had to pick one character, one concept, one plot point, something that you can take away as a positive from this, what's the one thing they did good, ma'am?
I was going to say Fennec Shand as well. She was the one person that is, as far as her characterization goes, consistent. She knows what she's doing. She's trying, to like motivate Boba to, all right, I think you should kill this guy. Like she's the, or I don't know about this. And yeah, so she was the most entertaining aspect for me. So where like with Boba's, I liked seeing him too, but I was confused. Where with she was like the one consistent, and I honestly didn't have any issues with the visuals either. I thought things looked great. I could have lived without that sand creature at the end. Like to me, that was obviously like, oh, look at that. But yeah, I thought everything looks nice. So
yeah, they intentionally made the creature look like stop motion animation, and that just made no sense to me.
Yeah, Josh, he's trying so hard. I enjoyed seeing the brothel.
Yeah.
The Twi'leks are easy on the eyes. I don't know, Paul. What do you want here? Yeah, that's a good point, Christian. All right, you gotta love it when people who know us well are watching and going, I know what's going on in your head. Bailey, let's stick with you then, ma'am. The one thing that just absolutely, I mean, we had a couple of problems with this episode that just absolutely turned your stomach, and you're like, no, one bad thing.
I don't know what the plot is. Like that is driving me crazy. I don't know who the threat is. I don't know where we're going as far as the present day. I just know a little bit more about what Boba's been through, which isn't a bad thing. But again, like, and maybe these episodes should be longer. I don't know, but I don't know like what the plot is, and that bothers me because by the first episode, I should be aware of where we're going. Like with Mandalorian, it was very clear, like, oh, this Mandalorian's he has this baby now. Okay. See, that's not everything, but I had an idea going forward that now there's this warrior with this baby.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know with this one.
Josh, before I go over to you, I wanted to touch on something Darth brought up. I forgot to bring up. Did you guys see the fort? They're walking through Mos Espa, and then there's a lady walking 4 robot-looking dogs. Do you guys remember that? If you go back and you look at their little spindly legs and they're flat on top, it has been confirmed that those were on loan from whatever company that makes those. They were actually the real thing, and they were using them as robots, robotic-looking dogs. So that was a good call out, Darth, and that is accurate. Yeah, product placement. They just painted them black or something, cover them with a sheet or something. But yeah, that's the actual ones that you see. Over to you though, Josh. I know you had a lot of fun with this episode, and that's a euphemism. Hold on. But what the one thing that really just stuck in your craw, as my Southern family would say, going away from this episode, the one bad thing that you just got to bring up?
Well, you mean the sand kraken definitely just really, really burns my biscuit a little bit. But honestly, what I'm particularly disappointed in was, and I said this earlier, is the escape from the Sarlacc. I just felt like that should have been more. I mean, that's a huge point in his story, and I don't know. It just seemed very meh. This happened, and then it's over. It just seemed like such an afterthought when it was, like you were saying, it's something that many of us have waited 40 plus years to know. So it's just, I don't know. It's
anticlimactic.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, disappointing.
Fair enough. And of course, leave it to Brandon. It's Boston Dynamics is the name of the company that makes those robots. So let's see what else we got going in the chat here really quick. And then we have one more topic. We're at an hour and 30, so we got a little bit of time. JT, the bad? Nothing. But that's not bad either. I could when you just took over to his palace, you can buy. Oh, apparently John says you can buy those things. I did not know that they were for sale yet. Oh, look at that. Okay. Real world robot dogs. So yeah, they a little bit of a product placement from the real world in there. Once again, everybody that's been in the chat has been awesome. Some great comments. And for the first time, and since I think we started doing this, I'm not able to use them all or put them all up because you guys are just overwhelming me, and I appreciate it. So thank you for joining us if you've been here since the whole thing. And if you just joined us a little while ago, we really appreciate it. Josh, we have one more topic that we like to go over before we start winding this down. And a lot of times we don't have time for this depending on the episode, but if we do, and we do because I keep us at 149 or below, we do it. Theories and predictions. So you can make this what you will of it, sir. If you just want to go like, I think this will happen next episode, or I think this is going to happen through the whole series or something. Or, you know what, Paul, I'm so confused. I have no idea. I just want to opt out of this one. Do you have any theories and predictions that you'd like to share with us, sir? For characters or plot points or anything?
Specifically for the next episode, I think they're going to hit. I think they're going to hit up the mayor. I think they're going to go to the mayor. I think he was the hammerhead, the Ithorian that we saw in the trailer. And I think that the guy that they captured on the rooftop is going to be the guy that leads them where they need to go, and I think it's going to be the mayor. I think that's going to be the next step in Boba establishing himself as the guy in charge. And then once that threat, which will probably meander for a couple of episodes, once that's dealt with, they'll move into bigger things. Again, I think that that Jennifer Beals character will play into it later in a big way. I feel like she's going to be a character that seems kind of neutral and just nothing to worry about until it really matters, and then she'll become a problem. I don't know. Other than that, I really think the mayor is going to be the first priority in the storytelling, and obviously more flashbacks.
For sure. Brandon mentioned that earlier. He's like, I don't think the flashbacks are done, and I don't think we're going to get any resolution on those for at least the next episode. So we're going to be seeing a lot of those. Bailey, over to you, ma'am. Theories, predictions, plot points, characters, vehicles, monsters we might see. What you got, if anything?
More flashbacks. That's like, because they definitely left us with, we still don't know, like, we know that Boba got out of Sarlacc. Boba spent time with Sand people, but we don't know how he wound up the way he was when we first saw him in Mando. So I think we still have that to cover. Maybe we'll see more stuff from the Clone Wars because they felt the need to give us that opening shot. So maybe they'll provide us more context with that. Because Boba, I think we left off where he was back in the back of the tank. So I think that's going to be the vessel that we use for these sequences. And I would be with you, Josh, in that this mayor is probably going to be the next problem since it was mentioned. So I think that will be like episode 2 is meeting this person and maybe figuring out who the ninjas were. And I think we're just going to have a lot of information overload this next episode.
So kind of more of a documentary feel again is what you got. Yeah, fair enough. Right. Good. All righty. Well, this has been an awesome first step because this is technically our first episode talking about stuff. Josh, and I want you to be honest. I know we're on camera and there's a lot of people looking. Are you enjoying yourself at least so far doing the show with us?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure. Okay.
What the hell kind of question is that? Yeah.
Okay. I just want to make sure, man. So Bailey doesn't have a choice. So, and if she's not happy, I'll know because she just won't show up. So, okay, well, good. The whole thing gave me D&D vibes. Fair enough, Alan. And then Milky Way Skywalker, look for Kira. Yeah, Josh, you're on record as saying Kira's coming. So those are all. Gilster, Kenobi will have way more flashbacks, so get used to it. Yeah, depending on who directs, who knows? We'll see.
But I want that to have a lot. I
want that to happen.
Okay. Yeah. G-Force. Of course you do, because Bailey and Josh are awesome, and I just hang on to their coattails.
Love you too, G-Force. Thank you.
So with that, as I mentioned, Alan and Apprentice Ewok Brandon, if you guys are still in the chat, check your Twitter right after this. I'm going to send you a message. But for everybody else, thank you so much for joining us. This has been a blast. We've had upwards of 25 people almost the whole time. Wow. Josh, even after you bounced angry and threw your laptop on the ground.
I know. Yeah, you notice I'm on a whole different device, right? Yeah.
Yeah, your audio and
that
your
upset. Yeah.
Oh yeah, everything is different now. So, and then of course, Shabby. I'm just looking for the Han Solo episode, and Rick makes a good point here. So with that, I'm going to start winding us down. Any quick last thoughts, Josh, before we get out of here, sir?
I'm hopeful that it will still be good. So, there you go. And I'm
Bailey.
having fun.
Okay, that was convincing. It didn't look like I'd forced you at all.
No.
Bailey, any last thoughts before I get us out of here? Then I'm going to run through chat real quick and we'll go.
No, I think we've covered everything. I'm having fun. I'm going to continue to have fun no matter what. So it's good to be back. You know, I don't think we saw a lot of these people in our previous shows. So hi, everybody. It's been a while. So yeah, it's good to be back.
Perfect. I didn't do any of my commercials this time, but yes, Linda, this will be same day and time every week. And if not, I will make sure it's blatantly obvious where it's going and at what time. But 6 p.m. American Pacific, 9 p.m. American Eastern on Thursdays. That way everybody has all Wednesday and all Thursday to look at the episode so that hopefully we're reducing the amount of spoilers that we do. So Saber, thank you very much. He says, great show, guys. I appreciate it. Rick, go watch it again.
I'm good.
Hold on.
I plan to, actually. I'll probably watch it a couple more times before the next episode.
Yeah, I've watched it. With this show, I watch it once just to chill and watch it, and then I go back and I take pictures of the stuff I want to talk about with you guys. JT, I've genuinely missed this show. Love you guys. Thanks to all in the chat. Wow. Thank you so much.
Miss you too.
Yeah, JT was right there with us during Bad Batch, no matter how mad we got or how bored we got with some of the episodes. G-Force, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, G-Force.
Jason, thank you so much. It's all these guys. Yep, absolutely. Make sure you wash your hands. It's everywhere still. Oh, John. Yeah, thanks. Happy New Year. Great stream, even though I disagree with most of your points. Well, it's okay, John. We love you even when you're wrong. David, Happy New Year, folks. You know what? Mark, I know you're busy, Mr. Caramel, with the home-based business and everything. So thank you for joining us. Wizzy Wiz. Great stuff. Thank you. Gilster. Ed5. Yeah. Thank you for the stream, guys. Happy New Year, everybody. Yeah. So Mr. Caramel, the newest addition to this team. Actually, I'm Mr. Caramel. He's something else. He's the best looking guy on the internet. I'm Mr. Caramel. Ask Shabby. He'll tell you. Linda, Happy New Year's to you, ma'am. Oh my God. We could go weird. David Carell. It feels too weird disagreeing with you guys so much now. Well, hopefully things will come around for us. So thank you. Thanks, you guys. Thanks, Paul and Bailey. Even Josh. Rick, thanks. Hey, I rock hard. Yeah. Great job.
Sorry.
Thanks, Milky Way. Oh my God. I could keep going for a while here yet, John. Thank you. I'm glad John's got a sense of humor. Crazy Happy New Year's to you too. And we're going to go out on this one. Mr. B seems to be the last one. So we're going to go out that. Happy New Year to everybody. Be safe. Have a good time. And at the end of the day, no matter what we say on this show, these guys agree with me, which is why they're here. It's still Star Wars, and any Star Wars is better than no Star Wars. Would you agree, guys?
Absolutely.
All right, you guys. Well, there it is. Happy New Year. Everybody have a good time. Be safe. And Josh and Bailey, you know how we do. We will see you on the next episode.
Bye, guys.